Hi guys, I'm so excited. We are bringing on Jen Sherman today to talk all about her path to purpose story and how she landed her dream job. So I am going to actually just post this right here so that everybody can tune in. Landing. Hi, Jax. Oh, hi, Morgan. Okay, we are going to get started in just a second. Oh, there is Jen. Okay, I'm so excited for us to do this. Okay, Jen, I'm going to let you in just a sec. Okay, oops. Okay, I've got to make that sticky. Yes. She should be in here in just a sec. Couldn't get enough, Morgan. Couldn't get enough. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
This is your first live too, isn't it?
It is my first live. I
I
was
feel like I've
wondering, are we
taken
doing this on Zoom? I didn't know.
like how does this actually work? I actually feel like I've taken a lot of people's live virginities.
You're
So
such
you
a
are.
baller.
I'm such a mother. Okay, Jen, I'm so excited to have you on here. I already have so many people actually signed in who are really excited to hear your story.
Aw,
So
so
thanks so
sweet.
much for coming on to share it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So let's kick off. So
Yeah.
Jen, tell us a little bit about what was going on before Path to Purpose. Like, what was life like? What were you struggling with? What was the challenge? Paint the picture
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. So I officially joined Path to Purpose in August, but I had seen your posts probably starting around like May, June, and everything that you were sharing just like called to me. Like the things that you were posting, like, are you thinking this? Do you feel this? Like everything was such a big yes for me. So a little background on me. I was a school social worker. I went to grad school right out of college. Kind of like knew my path right out of college. Went to grad school, got my master's, got my job, got my LCSW. It's a very like linear path for me. And it was very fulfilling. Like I'm a helper. I'm like a unifier. I like finding resources for people. I like making people feel good. And that was when I fell into that career that I felt like that was it for me. And then kind of along the way, I felt like um, the career just started to change. And I know you had when you were posting, and I feel like a lot of people join Path to Purpose, and a lot of people just feel like that burnout feeling. And it was not quite the burnout feeling that I think a lot of people and as educators feel. It was starting to feel like there was a lot of control on the way that I could help others. And there was, politics involved. Anyone who's listening who is involved in education knows that there's like an aspect of politics where you don't really get to control like how you want to be supporting others, helping others. And that was weighing really heavy on me. And it got to the point where, I was thinking like, is this it? Like, is this the career that I'm going to be in for the rest of my life? I've been doing it for almost a decade. Like, I didn't really see any other ways that I could feel fulfilled by like being the person that I am and contributing to society in other careers. So I was like, I guess this is it. Like, I'm just going to have to go until I retire and just kind of suck it up. Um, and but that's not living. And so when I started seeing your posts, and like I said, it really spoke to me because working is 80% of our life. And if we're looking at it as it's just a job and we go to it and we're this one person and then we leave and we're another, that's not the way I wanted to live my life. I wanted like a very fluid and seamless existence between living and working. And so that's what I really wanted to accomplish in Path to Purpose. And I didn't know at the time that it was going to lead to quitting, which is like obviously very scary and like a big leap. And you and I talked about it. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it, but I had the support. I had like my husband's support. And I knew that the type of job that I wanted, I didn't want to be working for the weekends. I didn't want to be working for vacations, working until like I could walk out the door. I wanted to feel so fulfilled and so passionate by what I was doing that it didn't matter what time it was, it didn't matter what day it was, that I was just like feeling all the things and just feeling fulfilled that I was really executing my purpose. So when I joined Path to Purpose, I didn't have a job and I was very lost. That is so not my personality to not have a job. And I'm very structured and I like waking up in the morning and having my plan for the day. And so what Path to Purpose really offered me was just, it was my compass. Like whenever I didn't know like why I was doing what I was doing or what I was searching for, it really like honed me back into why I was doing what I was doing, which is to find my purpose, to really like live out the essence of who I am. So that's what it did.
Oh my gosh, okay, amazing. That was so beautiful, Jen. I have a few questions for you. When you were back in that moment where it was like right before we probably even signed up for Paths of Purpose, and you were in that moment where you were like, I know I need a change. I know I need a change. How did you like make the decision to take the leap? And by take the leap, I mean both in terms of getting support in terms of Paths of Purpose, but also quitting your job.
It was just that it had gotten to the point where it's like I couldn't ignore the signs that were speaking to me. And I wasn't someone who really meditated. You know, I like work out to feel good. I go to yoga to feel good, but I was never like really looking back on it, like really tuning into my thoughts. I was definitely more outward than inward. And so it was just like, it got to the point where like my intuition, and I didn't know it at the time, but my intuition was just like screaming at me, like, you're not happy. Why are you continuing down this road? And if you don't make a change, when is it going to happen? And when you say like, when I made that decision, like it was in the middle of a pandemic. Like who quits their job in the middle of a pandemic? I had a secure position. But I knew that if I didn't do it then, I didn't know when I would.
So let's talk a little bit about the journey. So I know when you started, like you didn't know what you wanted to do. Like you didn't feel like you had clarity on like what the next job was going to be or like any of those things. So can you tell us a little bit about like in the beginning, what it felt like to quit your job and just and not know what was next?
Yeah, I literally felt like it was like I had like all these like bubbles above my head, like telling me like, you want this, you want this, you want this. And it was like, almost like, you know, throwing spaghetti at the wall and like hoping something sticks. Like it was just so many thoughts and so many ideas. And I was just so like jealous of people who were more clear. Like I remember feeling that way, that I was like, before I even started the program, I had started doing a lot of informational interviewing and a lot of interviewing. But because I didn't know myself what I wanted and what I could offer people, I mean, I knew what I could offer people. I knew that I was like at the core, someone who just wants to help, but I didn't quite know how to like sell myself in that way because I had put myself in a box and I needed to get myself out of that box. So I just like I said, like Path to Purpose was my compass. And then everything that I was doing on the peripheral was informational interviewing, reaching out to people, like just really putting myself out there, just doing as much research as I could. I read something the other day that like you can manifest all you want, but you also have to take action. And I feel like currently now where I landed is like I totally manifested where I landed, but I did a lot of work to get there. So yeah, I mean, I was like you said, I was very lost, and it was a lot of coming back to the core, the root of the program. And when I felt like my thoughts were scattered and when I was losing my focus on what I was doing, I was coming back to your meditation prompts and your journaling prompts. And like that really just grounded me, because when you feel so confused and so lost, like you need something to ground you. And that's really what it offered me. I wasn't a journaler. I'd never like even purchased a journal. And I went on Etsy and got myself a cute journal. And I look back on it now and I read the pages and I can go through the progression of like someone who was so lost and so confused to slowly but surely getting more clarity. And it wasn't like A to B. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and I was clear. There was like a lot of step here. No, this doesn't feel right. Step this way. No, it doesn't feel right. I took like a few part-time positions thinking like that this was the route that I was going, and then like listened to my gut, realized that it wasn't, shifted again. And I'm someone who is so used to a linear path that this was so out of my element, but I just over time just started to like trust that my intuition was leading me in the right direction.
Okay, so I want to talk about the actual job that you landed in just a minute. But before we do, is there anything in particular that you feel like Path to Purpose really just helped you learn or shift or heal, or like anything that really stands out to you from the program as like, this is like gonna carry with me, and this is as things that really impacted your ability to really take this next step into landing that dream
Yeah.
job?
Well, really what I learned is that it's not just a program that you start and you end, and once you're at the end, you've figured it all out. Like it's definitely something that you're going to continue on. You're going to continue to use those tools and those skills. Even though I found a job that I'm very fulfilled and happy with, there's still a lot of like inner working that I know that I need to continue with from the program. I still talk to my cohort every week, and we've even said like we're going to go back to the beginning, because I talked about how like I still think about things that happened in my last career and my last job that really stuck with me, and it impacts how I function in the workplace now. And there are things that I just like I need to acknowledge and accept and reshift my mindset and move on from them and leave them in the past. So that's just one of many things that I feel like the program's just to know is just going to continue on. Like just because I have a job now doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue doing all the things that I learned. And also just patience. Like it's not going to happen overnight. And I don't even feel like I have it all figured out anyways, you know, like it's constantly evolving. It's not linear.
I mean, work trauma is real, you know, these
Yeah.
things that happen at work. We don't, you know, so often we just don't even realize like how big of an impact they really have on us and how they really stick with us. And so, I mean, what you're talking about is like giving space to heal from some of that stuff and really allowing yourself to learn the lessons from whatever the trauma was, so that as you move into this next chapter, you know, as you said, you don't carry it with you, and or you allow it to just be something that taught you something about yourself rather than something that holds you back or weighs you down in any way. Okay, Jen, tell us about the dream job. Tell us about how you landed it. Tell us about the process of how you really were able to get clarity on what you wanted and then made it happen.
So, like I said, it was like a lot of shifts along the way. So in the program, I, you know, started looking at different like online programs. How could I find different skills? How can I enhance skills that I already have? And I like started thinking about, do I want to be a VA? Because it's like, it's a helping field and it's helping other people in their businesses. And I thought that I really liked that idea. So I was a part of a VA program. And then in the VA program, and like I said, I learned to listen to my intuition. And through that program, I was like, I don't know if this is exactly where I want to be, but I'm here for some reason. So I'm just going to embrace it and continue it. And through that program, there was a lot of job posting opportunities. And I just was applying to the things that spoke to me. And I felt like I could offer my services and be someone who was, when we described ourselves in the program, is like what our purpose is and what are our values. And I'm someone who like passionately supports people and also is a connector and a unifier. So I was looking for roles where I was going to be, you know, working amongst different teams and supporting others in their passion projects. And so even though I was like embedded in this VA world, like through the woods came this job posting for this community manager position. And like, I didn't work in the industry, you know, I worked in education. So there's like so many job titles and companies, and like I was like unaware, you know, you only know when you're in education. So I was like, oh, community. Like I'm someone who enjoys being part of communities. You know, I'm part of many different groups. I enjoy forming relationships, forming friendships, meaningful relationships. And so I found this community manager position and I read the job description. And another thing that is also, my dog's like very passionate about this topic too, apparently. something that you and I talked about was writing our own job description. Like what do we want to find? Because before we know what we want to, before we know what job we're going to land, we kind of have to like describe it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had done that. And then when I saw this community manager role and I read the job description, and it's like someone who, you know, loves being part of teams and loves interacting with people and, you know, is more like on the emotional intelligence side of things, like just loves connecting with others. And I was like, yep, that's me. And I was really scared about interviewing. I get so uncomfortable with interviews. I even like reached out to you and I was like, what do I do? What do I say? And, you know, we honed it back into when you are interviewing, you want to hear what their need is and what you can do to offer to help them, to support them. How can you move them forward in their mission? And so that was like just really, I went into the interview with that as my main focus, my main like driving force was to answer each question from a place of, I'm hearing you need help with this. This is how I can help you with this. And just was really like my authentic self for the first time, I think, in interviews ever. And so because I like hung up on that call and it felt so good, I felt like that was another sign of like, this is the right place for you. And then when they offered me the position, and I've been there for a few weeks now, it just feels so right. But in saying that, I also am still going to be open to, it's okay to continue to grow and evolve in jobs and yourself. And so to not like what I did in my first job was like, this is who I am, this is my label, this is my title, and this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And it's okay to not put yourself in that box. And I can continue as I grow and evolve to see what other opportunities are out there for me.
I love that so much. And I think what you're saying is so important because ultimately, you know, I use this catchy title, like Jen's story, landing her dream job, right? Like get people to come listen to this, right? But the truth is like it is a journey, right? And really,
Right.
if we were to like condense what really happened for you is you were able to make a shift into this next chapter of your life in a way where you feel so much more confident, so much
Mm-hmm.
more fulfilled. And it's not to say that social work never fulfilled you. It did, but it
Yeah.
just, it ran its course. And in that transition, which every single one of us has a moment in our lives where we're ready to transition into the next chapter and get
Mm-hmm.
super clear really on like what our next expression of our purpose is, right? And we just aren't really ever taught how to do that. And
Right.
so, you know, this is just an incredible example of how it isn't just over, right? You don't just sort of land the dream job and like, that's it.
That's
But
it. Right.
the ability to actually create that opportunity for yourself is step one,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which you just did. Like you just completely created this opportunity for yourself because you got clear on what you wanted. You started to follow your intuition. You started to hear and listen and trust your intuition. And then you
Right.
followed it. You took action. You actually did something about it. Even if you didn't know if like every opportunity was going to pan out or if it was the right
Mm-hmm.
thing, like you stopped being afraid of making the wrong choice because ultimately you were experimenting in alignment with what your framework was, with what your purpose is. And so now
Yeah.
where you are is in this incredible place where, yeah, you have this dream job, right? That's in alignment with all the things that you want, but it doesn't have to be the forever job either because you are
Right.
going to continue to evolve. And whether it's, you know, however it ends up panning out, it's like, it's just the journey now is to stay
Mm-hmm.
on your path with your purpose and continue to
Right.
create opportunities for yourself that feel like they're actually in alignment with how you want to be living. So congrats.
Right. And I always laugh because I think of when I was in high school and I played field hockey and we had this shirt and it was like it's about the journey, not about the destination. And like at the time I'm like, oh, that's so corny, but I keep thinking about it because life is this journey and we keep thinking like once I get to that place, I'm going to feel this way and it's going to be so much better once I get there. And when I look back at the last like 8 months of my life, it's really been like that's what life is about. And that's, I can't say that like now that I'm at the job that, just keep getting notifications. Now that I'm like at this job that this like growth and this journey needs to end because that's not what life is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think too about the, like one of the things that I really needed to work on was like the guilt of leaving and shifting, not leaving something behind, because I still feel like me as a social worker, like that's who I am. I'm just applying it in a different and creative way. And that's something that I kept saying, like, I'm a social worker, like by nature and right now by trade, but wherever I go, I'm still going to be applying like who I am, and someone who, I've described it all along the way. I like don't need to keep repeating myself, but there was like this sense of guilt that I was leaving, a helping field, something that people used to say like, wow, like that's so wonderful of you to do that. And like it shouldn't just be because you're in a role that like other people like idolize or like put you on a pedestal of like just someone who's inherently good. Like we're all like good. It's like why do we have to tie that to our job title and where we work?
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I think the thing you are also calling out is like, in a way, it's like you would think you're like starting over, but you're not
Right.
starting over, right?
Right.
Because you're carrying all of the experience and all the skills and
Mm-hmm.
all of those things with you into this next chapter. And I think that it's just it's something that I think holds a lot of us back, is this feeling like we're going to be starting from scratch if we make a transition into something else, regardless
Right.
of if we're
Or
starting
other
a
people are
business.
going to be judging us. That was something that was hard for me too. Like, what are other people thinking? Like, he or she, went to school for this and now she's doing this. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And like, you kind of just have to like get rid of that bad energy. And people probably aren't even thinking it anyways, but that's like where my mindset was. And that was something that the program really helped me just get over.
I love that. Okay, Jen, so what advice do you have for somebody who is in the shoes where you were in, like right before Paths to Purpose, where they're feeling super
Mm-hmm.
stuck, super lost, frustrated with their career, and all they want is like clarity and direction and like, what do I do next? What advice do you have?
Yeah. Oh, so much. But like the word that comes to mind, it's just like patience, 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 and keep listening to your gut and keep making decisions that feel good to you. And just because you're feeling this way now doesn't mean that you're always going to be feeling this way. And like I said before, like manifest the life that you want, but you can't just like sit there dormant and not do anything about it. Like really take action, even if it's like the teeniest baby steps, even if it's like emailing someone whose job you're curious about or lifestyle you're curious about and just wanting to know more, like taking a risk, sending an email. People want to help. Like anyone that I reached out to who for informational interviewing, like everyone was so happy to talk about what they do because everyone has been in this situation before. So everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to help you get clarity. So take that chance to reach out to that person or explore something a little bit more, and just be patient, because as long as you're taking action, something is going to happen.
And final question is, what would you say to somebody who's like thinking about joining Paths of Purpose, but isn't sure and honestly is afraid of making the investment?
That's such a personal choice for everyone. But I think just being a part of this community, being a part of a community in general when you are struggling kind of helps you get like weed through something that's challenging for you. Like you don't need to do it on your own. And by joining the program, you're going to be there with people who are in it with you, who are also trying to get clarity on their purpose. And it is so much easier to have someone to talk to who gets it. When I was first joining, it was like I have my cohort and I have like all the alum from Path to Purpose. And it's so reassuring and comforting to know that I wasn't alone. That was a huge thing. It's like I felt very alone when I was just, thinking about quitting my job. Like there weren't a lot of people, at least who I knew around me, who were going through what I was going through. So it offers you a community of people who feel what you're feeling, are like your own personal cheerleaders, who are celebrating your successes, who are helping you process challenging thoughts that you're having one day. So it's just such a supportive community. And I've made like lifelong friends across across the United States. Do we have any people from other countries? I don't
We
know,
do,
but
yeah. We didn't have anything in your car, but yeah, we definitely do. Mm, that's amazing. Well, Jen, thank you so much for coming on here to share your story. Thanks for
thank
everybody who
you
came
for
to watch or who's
having
watching the
me.
replay. Any final thoughts you want to share? Any words of wisdom?
Just get on a live and just take that leap. I've never done it before, but it feels good to have my first live under my belt. How'd I do?
You crushed it. I mean, this is like very well attended, and I'm sure we're gonna have tons of replays too. But no, seriously, Jen, sharing your story, I think we never really realized like how impactful it is to share our story and how much it really can inspire somebody else. And so thank you so much for coming on, because I have no doubt that you are inspiring somebody else to,
Thank
you
you.
know,
I hope
tune
so.
into themselves and take action. I think that was one of the biggest messages that I at least got from your story, is that, you know, even if you didn't know what the answer was going to be or what the result was going to be or where it was going to lead you, as soon as you got clarity on what you wanted and when you could start to hear your intuition, you started to be able to take action. And that's what really led you to being able to create this next chapter for yourself.
Yeah.
So congrats, and congrats on
Thank
doing the
you.
work. I mean, you did this. You
Thanks.
fucking did it, sister.
Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone's listening, wants to reach out, DM me, ask any questions about my process, the program, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Jen. I'll drop your contact info in the little notes. And
Okay.
thanks for everybody who joined. Bye, Jen.
Thank you. Bye.